All right. I will call this meeting to order. We will start with the consent agenda. All the following items which concern reports and items of a routine nature normally approved at AHA meetings will be approved by one vote unless any trustee desires to have a separate vote on any or all these items. The consent agenda consists of the discussion, consideration, and action on the following items: minutes of the regular trustee meeting September 26, 2023, and a check report September 9, 2023 through October 8, 2023.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda, items A and B as printed.
Second.
I have a motion by Dr. Brown and a second by Dr. Simon to approve the consent agenda as it was presented. Roll call vote, please.
Gasper,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Aye. I just skipped him.
Okay. It's just approving the minutes.
Simon,
Yes.
Mossberg, yes. Brown,
Yes.
All right. Hey, I would like to welcome our newest board member, Dr. Callie Mossberg. This is her first meeting. She was voted in by the council last week, and so we welcome you to AHA.
thank you.
And thank you for your willingness to serve. All right. Next item is the CEO's reports. Candace?
All right. So I had sent out a snapshot of things to go over earlier. One of the things was a contract discussion about Senior Life Solutions. It's a company that provides behavioral health services for the elderly patients, help them through depression, grief after loss, those types of things, just helping them to live a better life. We had the representative come yesterday and allow us to answer questions and talk about that a little bit. This would be a program that would be housed out of the homestead. We would be able to capture that on our cost report for the space used. And so we feel like we still need to do a little more investigation and looking at that. So that'll be something that we'll probably revisit next month and bring to you. So if you take a look at that and you have any questions, please reach out. In Reach, we have a meeting this week to do a phone interview with a new surgeon. So we're excited about that, the guy from Tulsa. So I'll let you know more about that. Sale of the nursing home is moving at a snail's pace, but it is moving along. So the land survey, we should have that report on Friday, and hopefully we'll get moving on moving that along. So excited that this week Bill Lakaitis? Yes, Lakaitis. Bill Lakaitis is our new Chief Information Officer. He comes to us with over 15 years experience in IT. He is actually on site this week, getting his feet wet and being able to assess where we're at and what direction we need help with. So he will be a remote worker. He will be on site 1 week a month until he feels comfortable that he's ready to do that, and just be here maybe once a quarter. But very personable. I think he hit the ground running and has already got quite a bit accomplished in the last 2 days. So we're excited to welcome Bill to the team. Going through the rest of my board report, business is picking up. We're starting to see, more clinic visits. There's been discussion. I know I've had a couple of people come to me, a couple of them are in this room, regarding our mammogram machine being down. It's end of life. We had spent a chunk of change on it recently, and I think it lasted 3 months. 90 days or so and bit the dust, and there are no parts to fix it. So Angelica is going to pull some numbers so that we can do a cost analysis to see what we need to do going forward. So we're going to be without that service for a little bit. We have been in contact with OU. They have a mobile bus service that comes around, but there is only one in Oklahoma, and they are booked solid. So not the ideal thing. We have looked, actually we were looking to see how much it was going to cost to upgrade before it went out of service, and it was looking about $300,000 at that time, and I'm not sure what technology she looked at, but we'll bring that back to the board for consideration and see what we want to do with that. So that's kind of where that stands. Other than that, I feel like Expanse is rocking along fairly well. We continue to track our charges dropping and finding hiccups here and there and things that need to be worked on. But all in all, actually Angelica handed me a report, and it looks like our revenue is looking more like it's back on track. So we're glad to see that. Other than that, I don't think surgery is busy. Orthopedic surgery and consults are rolling right along. Pretty excited about that. They're getting more procedures. Clinics are full when he comes, so it's positive. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Where's Bill, the new IT guy, where's he going to be based out of?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
How
Pennsylvania.
did he find us, you know?
Actually through a recruiter, a guy that I had worked with in years past with our last implementation with Meditech. He just called me out of the blue one day and said, "Do you need anything?" I said, "Well, matter of fact, I do." And he had us 2 interviews by the 3 interviews, three by the end of the week. And I think we interviewed Bill second out of the 3, and we had a really good feeling about Bill during his interview. And when the 3rd one rolled around, we were sure that it was Bill that we wanted. And so, great guy. I mean,
Has he worked with Expanse before?
not with Expanse, no, he has not. So he and John were going to get together, and he was going to bounce some things off of John and some questions, but he had really good questions for us, I felt like, in the last couple of days, and forming bonds with his staff. And I sat down with him this evening, and he was spot on with, reading, his staff and everything. I felt like he had done a good job doing an assessment, so I think it's looking very positive.
Another question. Are we
Yes,
going to have time to talk about the psychiatric medical care contract later today?
We can have some discussion, or we will. That's actually item B.
Okay.
But yes, we'll discuss that.
Is there anything else that you saw in my report, or anything, other questions for me? There was one thing I'm afraid is not anywhere else I'll go ahead and bring up. We did get our insurance quotes back, and they did go up again for our employee health insurance, as they do. It seems to happen every year. So we're looking at some different options to be able to weather that storm. But that's quickly approaching the end of the year. This year has flown by.
What percent is it going up?
6%. Isn't that right?
Well, it's not bad. It is an increase, and when you have 200 employees, it adds up quick. So, that'll probably be something we'll need to talk about next month.
I just think, I don't think people outside of here understand when a business gets increases like that, cost of everything going up. Most other businesses, Foods Farm Supply, Jimmy's costs go up. What does he do? The price of his goods go up, and he can make up that difference. We can raise our prices all we want. We don't make any more money if we raise our prices. And there's somebody else here that understands that now. So, anyway, it is what it is. We have to figure out how to make all of that work when that happens.
Then it'd be close to $100,000 more a year, just to give you an idea. All right. If there are no other questions for Candace, I would entertain a motion on her Share Medical Center written report for October.
We approve the Share Medical written report for October. Second.
I have a motion by Dr. Brown, a second by Greg Bowman, to approve the Share Medical Center written report for October 2023. Roll call vote, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Mossberg,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Gasper.
Yes. Okay. The next item is the PMC Development Management Services Agreement. I will tell you, we did meet with them yesterday. The gentleman gave us tons of information. There are some things that I think we still need to figure out. So I'm going to recommend from finance that we would table this today. However, we can still discuss it. I believe we need to table it until we get some more clarification and some more information. But does anybody have questions? There is, in the back of Candace's report, there is a agreement, if anybody wants to read through that, or if you maybe you already have, or if you have any questions. So, fire away.
Is this going to be for somebody that's in-house? That'll be,
Doesn't have to be, so they can be self-referred, they can be referred by a family member. It can't be a...
no, the therapist,
Oh,
the mental health worker.
will they be employed by us?
Will they be employed? No, they're going to be employed by this company, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Is that person going to be on site in Alva, or is it going to be telemedicine?
The psychiatrist,
Whatever it is,
On
psychiatrist,
site.
psychologist, whatever.
they would
On
be
site.
on site once a week?
So Clark, they do this down at O'Keene
Yes.
with this same company.
So the psychiatrist is off-site, and it monitors. We have a therapist on-site, so the licensed social worker that comes on-site and performs the therapy sessions in group and individual.
And that's what he indicated.
And so would we have other services besides telemedicine with the psychiatrist? Would there be a counselor or therapist or somebody else on site or in Alva
That's the way I understand it.
5 days a week or whatever?
Mhm.
There will
Yes.
be?
Yeah,
And they're the ones that are going to be at the homestead? Is
yes,
that correct?
yes.
That's not a done
That's not a done deal?
done deal. There's some rules and some things we need to verify, because we need to be able to make sure it falls under our cost report, or otherwise it doesn't make as much sense.
Okay, and this is only for geriatric psych?
Yes.
Through them.
Through them?
Mhm.
What's the age cutoff?
It's it's
So
Medicare.
65 and older?
65 and older, yeah.
What about psych need for under 65?
That'd have to
I
be a
would
different,
I know,
that's,
that's a bigger need, I think, than geriatric psych, but
I don't know, Clark's program, how many do you have?
I hired my own separate therapist for those that didn't qualify for SOS. They come in 2 or 3 days a week and just do all the stuff that falls off the table, which is adolescents and young adults as well as regular adults. But so I've got a twofold, and sometimes they won't take married couples. So if you admit a spouse or, I don't know, a wife into the program, the husband will not qualify because of the conflict, and so therefore they have to have another program to go to, so I make sure I've got a safety net at Okeen.
Did you do any type of needs assessment prior to? And if so, who did you use to get that needs assessment to show that that was a need in your
We
area?
used the OSU, the Office of Rural Health, the Community Health Needs Assessment, and then we looked at the county, we're in Blaine County, and this is the regional and the surrounding counties. We do pick up and drop off delivery for some of the patients are not mobile. So we go get them and bring them, give them food and provide them meals. But we use the countywide assessment information for our area. And then the referrals come from either clinic visits or come from family members. We advertise it at our social clubs and some of the civics centers just to make sure that if someone's family member has a need or potential admission, that we put them in the hands of the program coordinator and then they make contact and do the initial assessments.
What does one of those assessments run? Do you know?
No.
How much does work?
I have another question. In the contract, is it that Shared Medical Center is going to give this LLC a certain amount of money per month?
It does cost, yes.
I mean,
It is
that's
a-
what we're giving from Shared Medical to this company to do that business. Is that unlimited telemedicine visits? Or is that just for the service? Who's going to bill those
We
services?
bill for the services.
We bill for the services.
Mhm.
So what happens if they see 2 patients a day?
So it's
What's
kind
going
of,
to happen?
it's kind of backwards thinking, but the more patients you have, the lower your costs need to be, lower your charges need to be, and the fewer patients you have, the higher. It's kind of like critical access.
Mhm.
The program, our ability to make money with the program is fixed. Almost. I mean, we can't take more patients and earn more money. If that makes any sense at all.
Basically, we almost can't lose money in this deal,
In
but
fact,
we're gonna be capped on what we can make
Okay.
in this program.
Right.
Now,
which is completely separate from.
right,
This is-
if you did like what Clark did, well, then you open up other windows of opportunity. I think that's still something more that would need to be explored on top of that.
Right. So we'll be billing for the services? What about the psychiatrist?
We bill
Are we
for
going to
all,
be billing for that psychiatrist?
we bill for all the services.
Okay.
And then out of the money that we receive, we pay them.
Right.
And so we had a long discussion yesterday about,
Is it a set amount per month to start with, or is it a percentage?
actually to start with, they're willing to defer that. He's willing to wait until we get our cost report settlement, if it took that long. He's willing to let us pay what we can from the monies that we bill until we're made whole, basically, and can afford to do it. So like Jason said, we just almost can't lose money on the situation because, and we feel like they will be more compelled to hustle the business if they're not getting paid until we get paid.
Right.
So,
Well, I got a question, see, and I'm not a financial, this may be more Angelica, but it seems like we're doing more business, so to speak, but nobody's paying us. Or there's less people paying us.
Are you talking about the financial statement?
Yes.
Essentially.
So are we gonna add to that again? I mean, are they gonna?
So this will all be through Medicare. So these patients will be being paid through Medicare for this
Yeah.
service.
There won't be any self-pay on this.
Okay,
And we won't have to be dealing with,
insurance.
yeah, commercial might be 10% on this one, it might be 40% on this one, or what have you. It was something that was brought to us as an opportunity, and others are having success with it. You know, you always try to find those things that can add to your revenue that doesn't have a ton of outflow for you, and this is one of those things that might fall under that.
And we negotiated with him that if we were to move forward with this, there's a good out clause in it that we can terminate without cause at any point, so we wouldn't be on the hook for a 5-year contract, you know, to pay it out.
Clark, would you add anything else?
No, I mean, I think I prefer the pay for performance splits when I'm contract with another vendor, but, you know, for them, it's a fixed rate, but it's variable based on their expenses. And so obviously the more patients you have enrolled, the higher the margin is, because the expenses are fairly fixed. If you can negotiate the cost lower and get the patient enrollment up, it's Medicare, so it's almost, you can bank it. I mean, I don't know what your payer mix is, but it's probably a large percentage of your monthly income comes from Medicare already, so it's just more of the same, just a different CPT code. But
And that's the other thing that it would also help us with, because they are primarily in this program, they would all be Medicare. It would help our Medicare rate go up.
Our mix.
Yeah. Because after COVID, ours
Our
got
payer
beat.
mix is down to like 44% Medicare.
if you can push down the commercials and the self-pays and push up the Medicares, then everybody hates the welfare argument, but it's paid, it's published rates, so it's less effort, less administrative burden, less recoupment.
You know what to expect, you get our payment within 21 days for Medicare, you know, without fail, so.
And it's a good service for the community.
Yeah, I think at O'Keene, we like it. For the service and for the population in our area, it's a great service to them, it's definitely. You know, my stressors is just controlling the cost and ensuring that the management fee and the medical director fee plus the staff that I would have to hire, I don't hire, I just cover those expenses as part of the management fee. So once I do my analysis is Thursday to do my income versus outgo for the service line. But once I know more, we'll be able to see what that margin is and how it trends over 12 months. But I don't know it right now. But it is, we're net positive with the service, and we hover between 6 to 8 patients in the program, typically month to month.
How long have you had this program?
A couple years. I was able to share some of our information with Candace so that she can see what it looks like in another facility.
You've had it since Shelley started it, didn't she? I mean, you've had
I
it for
think we
like...
started in 2019, I think, is when we started.
Yeah.
And then we've loaned out our program coordinator to some other sites to help establish other programs across the state, because it is, you know, Medicare eligible patients for behavioral health, and we know what a sensitive population that is, and loss and grief, and combined with political climate and all kinds of things, it's certainly an eligible population that we love to provide the service for.
So O'Keene has a contract with these guys, Shattuck has one with these guys, Kingfisher, Guthrie, Cordell's in the middle of it, and there was one other one in here in kind of western Oklahoma, just to give you an idea. So,
So do we have to make a motion to table it? Or
yes, we do. I would entertain one.
Maybe we can.
You're up.
Get through the whole thing on that one, on B? I move to table to enter into, do what?
Refer to the item.
CEO's report, letter B. Don't I have to read more than that?
I don't know, that's legal. I'll be,
You're gonna be...
maybe I'm less qualified at this point, I don't know.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second?
We have a motion by Dr. Simon, a second by Dr. Brown to table the discussion and action to authorize the Chief Executive Officer to enter into a PMC Development and Management Services Agreement with Psychiatric Medical Care LLC to establish a geriatric patient-focused psychiatric program and to authorize the chief executive officer to sign all documents for execution of the PMC Development and Management Services Agreement.
Letter B.
Yeah.
Good job, sir.
Fondly
Yeah.
referred to as.
Roll call vote, please.
Wow.
Burke,
Yes.
Simon.
Yes.
Mossberg,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Gasper,
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
All right.
It's a run-on sentence, Dr. Simon.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't want to read it.
Candace, would you like to talk about your mission statements?
vision, and values.
statements? It's at the back, behind that contract or agreement.
Like the last two pages.
Looks like
There should be two
the
pages.
colorful one.
Just like this.
So with Dr. Mossberg joining us tonight, it forced me to do something we needed to do for a long time, to update a orientation manual for a new board member. And so in going through that, I could not bring myself to put our old mission, vision, and values statement. Like, I couldn't make myself do it. So we had several department managers come together with an assignment. They were to find mission, vision, and value statements that spoke to them and all come together and try to create new ones for us. And we did it, and I think we were all very pleased with what we came up with, and we're bringing it to you tonight for approval. So in doing so, we came up with the mission of passion for excellence, compassion for you. We wanted something that was short and sweet, that we were able to remember, and that's kind of hard to do, trying to encompass, you know, everything that we do. So we felt like that spoke to us, and it also kind of set the tone for the rest of the vision and the values, because it directed us towards the patient, towards you. Instead of focusing on, putting the focus on us, it's what we're going to do for the patient. So the vision is your trusted source for healthcare in Northwest Oklahoma. Our values, gratitude, you make our work possible. Thank you for the opportunity to serve you. Community, we know you and we want to take care of you. What happens to you matters to us. And that always comes back to, I know I say it routinely in talking to patients and families, we really do care about taking good care of those in our community. And when you go out of town for that care, you're just another number. You're nobody to them. And you know, when I was in nursing school, I always felt like, oh, I want to go to big hospitals, want to do great things, and you know, bigger is always better. And then I realized in that endeavor that, you know what, when you go to Oklahoma City to have surgery, you got no clue who's putting you to sleep. I would let Tate or Marissa Endersby put me to sleep any day of the week, you know, and feel comfortable that they're taking great care of me. So something, I think that reflects, you know, our intentions. Dignity, your health care is personal. We respect your wishes, your privacy, and deliver your care with compassion. Diligence, access to excellent health care in Northwest Oklahoma can be challenging. We do not stop working to get you the care and assistance you need. Stewardship, our community needs local health care. I hear this routinely from people in our community. We need our hospital. We make wise use of human, financial, and other resources to ensure we will always be here for you. That is quite a challenge that we are tasked with every day, is to keep the doors open, and so we wanted that to be a part of our values. So what do you think?
Thumbs up.
Yeah, I think it sounds good.
All right.
Good job. So I would entertain a motion for the approval.
I move to approve the mission, vision, and value statements.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Dr. Simon, a second by Dr. Burke to approve the mission, vision, and values statement. Roll call vote, please.
Simon?
Yes.
Mossberg? Yes. Brown?
Yes.
Gasper?
Yes.
Bowman?
Yes.
Burke?
Yes.
All right. Hey, we're going to skip forward real quick down to the shared convalescent home report. Kelly has multiple meetings tonight, and so we're going to allow him to make that presentation real quick. Kelly, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So for the convalescent home report, I will just start by saying on item A, that'll be something that we tabled again. We're not ready to do item A on the agenda under number 8. But as far as the nursing home is concerned for the business in September, we did have our lowest census of the year, and with that we had our lowest gross patient revenue for the year, and $193,000 in revenue. And then after contractuals and came out, or in our case usually Medicaid pays extra the way our is set up, but contractuals and other revenue, we had total revenue $194,088. We had significant decreases in salaries, and then we also saw decreases for supplies and other expenses, which is consistent with the census being down. So, but all in all, the loss for September was $17,592, which is the best we've done in the last 4 months, but still a loss. We did we're getting the property surveyed for the sale with Beatles. That should wrap up this Friday. We should have all the documents with the legal description and all of that this Friday. Crews have been out once, they'll be out again probably tomorrow, and then they expect that by Friday we'll have everything completed for their survey, the property survey. We did get submitted to the IRS for our employee retention credit, as part of COVID funding, one of the programs that was available. And so, you know, maybe we'll hear something on that before long. Other than that, you've got the financial reports available. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them.
Any questions for Kelly? If not, Kelly, do you want to give your homestead report, and then I can come back and do it?
Homestead had what I would say an average month of revenue, $55,359. It is slightly up. Expenses for the month of September were $51,434, and it was a small net income of just under $4,000. Year to date, Homestead, 3 months in, has again a modest net income of $30,000. As I mentioned, occupancy is slightly up. Might as well call it break even, or even with the previous month, but it is up slightly. This says it's down. It's not down, but it is up slightly. They are getting they did have a booth at the Woods County Fair. Lots of people took information from them while they were out there, so that was good. We have had a lot of work done on the building. We finally got contractors out to look at the sprinkler system from the damage that occurred about a year ago, almost a year ago. And so some of that's repaired, and we're starting to make progress. Tyler Crawford's doing work in the apartments, getting them fixed up and ready to go so they can be rented again. We've got those financials in that report as well. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Kelly? If not, Kelly, thank you for being here. While we're on the convalescent home, under 8A, it talks about the discussion action to identify and authorize 3 signatories. We are not ready to do that until we get, like Kelly said, this survey done so that we can finish up that agreement. There's no reason for this to be in place until that is. So I would entertain a motion to table item A.
I'll make a motion to table item A on the share cobble as at home report.
Second.
Have a motion by Greg Bowen, a second by Dr. Simon, to table item A under 8A. Roll call vote, please.
Burke,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Mossberg,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Gasper,
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. All right, now we will go back up to item number 4, the CFO's report.
Alright, so we start out looking at operating cash. On our operating cash, we closed the month at negative $2,700 on our cash balance. If you look at our total cash balances, I left last month's general cash balance in there, so that actually should be the negative $2,700, but it is our operating cash balance there. But we did close out the month with about $65,000 in our total cash balances. So I apologize for that, I just didn't update that field. Cash is obviously down, with our implementation and just some billing reimbursement items. Cash flow has been drastically low. We did go out for that line of credit that we approved last month. We've had to drop that on in a couple times for payroll purposes, but we've been able to minimize what we're, not wanting to just use that line of credit up right away. Our hospital AR is closed out at $4 million, just a little bit over that, so it's up just a little bit. As our numbers start to climb, obviously that AR goes up until we get the monies back in. You can see on the next page, at the top there, we closed out September with about 11.8 days in our unbilled, 96 days in our billed AR, so a total of 108 days 108 days for accounts receivable. Statements have started going out of the new system. Again, we've got our unbilled down. It's not quite where we want it to be, but it is lower than it has been the last several months as we work through coding issues and we work through just a variety of other things. We do anticipate that will continue to get better in our billed AR. Our gross days of billed AR will continue to decrease as statements go out and monies are coming in. Our hospital accounts payable, we closed at $1.4 million. It is up just a little bit with our cash flow being down the last several months. That has risen a little bit. As our cash flow starts to improve, we should start seeing that AP go down. Candace indicated earlier that our gross patient revenue is up, back on track from where it was this time last year. So we had about $1,776,000 in gross patient revenue for the hospital. So that being said, you have definitely seen an increase there. Hopefully that trend will keep on track moving forward. As Candace stated, as we were looking at some of the numbers earlier, we've seen an increase in ER visits, our clinic visits are starting to go up, so that in turn we should start seeing an increase in revenue. Total clinic gross patient revenue, you can see we had a fairly sizable spike from the previous month, so we closed out the month of September at $246,000. We did find that we had some claims that were sitting out there that weren't being posted, and so we were able to push a bunch of those through, and that helped drive that number up. So we should see it, I would say, level back out, but hopefully continue to see it grow as we move into our winter months. I know our clinics will continue to get busier. Operating expenses, we had $643,000 in operating expenses for the month of September, which is A slight decrease over last month. I think we were at $760,000 last month for operating expenses, and so we did see a decrease there. Jaden and her team has been working hard to keep our prices for our materials down as best that they can. Just everyone overall is working to keep expenses down. We did close the month with a net loss of $296,000, which is better than it was this time last year. Candace, we were looking at that in Finance Committee yesterday. I think we closed out last year at $544,000 net loss for the first quarter last year. So, no, I apologize. Totally not looking at it correctly. We closed it out at $807,000 for the net loss for the quarter last year, and for this year we had a net loss for the quarter at $544,000. So we are in a better spot than where we were last year. And as we move into the winter months and revenues and clinic visits start to increase, we should see an increase there as well. What questions can I answer?
Any questions in regards to the financials for Angelica? If not, we'll move on to item B.
The chemistry analyzer, so.
No, item B would be the Empower Pharmacy Program.
Oh, yes, I was ready to go to chemistry analyzer. So this is a checking account for weight loss program that we are looking to launch, or that we are launching in our clinics. This program would be a cash-only program, and so, not cash-only, but a pay in advance program. It wouldn't be billed through insurance companies, and so this would allow us to have all of the money for that program right there, so we don't need to purchase, I don't remember what the medication, but then it would be, the cash would be sitting right there in that checking account, and we'd be able to use that. So we would like to keep that revenue separate from everything else. And then these are just our normal signatories that we have on all of our accounts.
Any questions about that?
So would that be under outpatient or?
We just don't want to use the main hospital credit card because we don't want to get into a situation where we try to run that card and it's maxed out for the day or whatever it might be, and so then the medication wouldn't get ordered and it could get dropped, if we didn't notice. So we just feel like that'll be a better option to ensure that the funds are available.
It would still be under
The accounting
clinic.
part.
It would still be under clinic revenue, Dr.
Yeah.
Burke, but it would not be part of the hospital revenue.
Right.
Yep, it'll be clinic revenue.
Any other questions? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve opening a checking account for the Empower Pharmacy Program, authorizing the following signatories: Jason Gathford, Halo Simon, Ken Allen, Angelica Brady, and Chris Lauderdale.
Second.
I have a motion by Dr. Brown, a second by Greg Bowen, to approve the opening of a checking account for the Empower Pharmacy Program and authorize the following signatories: Jason Gassford, Halo Simon, Candace Allen, Angelica Brady, Chris Lauderdale. Roll call vote, please.
Mossberg,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Gaspard,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Simon.
Yes.
Okay, the next item is the purchase or lease of a chemistry analyzer. If you go back under Angelica's tab, and you'll see the part that says McKesson. So our current analyzer is 7 years old. It's at the end of its life. We can't get parts. for it. We have a service agreement on it that is $27,000 a year. But however, it has to be replaced. So our options are either to purchase one or lease one. If we were to purchase, it's $195,000, up front. And then in year 4, you would start having a $24,190 service agreement in years 4 through 7. We don't have an extra $195,000, so we would have to finance that through the finance company. We would end up with the interest plus that over 7 years would end up spending about $274,000. And at the end, you have a piece of equipment like this piece of equipment that we have now, that it's at the end of its life, it's worth nothing. So it's not like we can go sell it to somebody else. It's just, that's just how those pieces of equipment are. There's no residual value really in it, unless Scribner would give us something for it. So under the lease, it would be $37,463 a year for the lease, which totals up to $262,241. Again, $12,000 less than the financing option of purchasing one. The reagents, you're going to have that regardless of whether you purchased it or whether you leased it. That is through McKesson. Did you mention yesterday that maybe that would actually be a little bit less than what we're through our current company?
So they came back and gave, quoted us back about a 10% discount on that, so it would be approximately about 100, yes, I'm sorry, yes. I was looking at the price of the chemistry analyzer.
I think it'd be around $198,000.
Yes, it was 198,000. 100, yes. And so that cost does change, and those annual costs are just based on, what we consume, the tests that we run, etc. So those dollars may fluctuate, I guess that's what I'm saying.
In finance, we talked about this, and we recommend to go through a lease. Save money, and it's theirs if it craters in that period of time. So, any questions? We did, over the last 7 years, 1.4 million tests on this thing. Just to give you an idea, about 200,000 tests a year.
Coder said about 85% of our lab tests are ran through this machine.
Just to give you an idea.
We'll be bringing a few tests in-house that we send out currently, right, with this machine?
Yes, 2 tests that we currently
Have to send out, we'll be doing in-house.
We'll be able to do it with the new one that we can't with the current one.
I noticed there was no service agreement for the first 3 years on either phase. I'm assuming there's service.
Its service is just included in
It's just
the,
included in.
yep,
Up to 37,000.
yep. So technically, for the first 3 years, that's only $10,000 more a month than what we're currently spending on an outdated system. Because our service agreement right now is $27,000. Any other questions? And this is also the one that the lab preferred.
I make a motion that we approve the lease of a chemistry analyzer in the amount not to exceed $262,241.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Dr. Brown, a second by Greg Bowman, to approve the lease of a Ortho 7600 chemistry analyzer from McKesson Medical Surgical in an amount not to exceed $262,241 in its, under that lease. Roll call vote, please.
Brown,
Yes.
Gaspard,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Simon.
Yes.
Mossberg.
Yes.
Angelica, anything else? No, thank you. Next item is under the Medical Staff Executive Committee, Chief of Staff, Dr. Burke.
Yes. We met October the 12th, 6 members present, 5 members absent. Medical Staff Pension Committee had one item of business to bring to the board. It was the appointment to allied staff of Jerry Brazil, PAC. He's working our urgent care mostly.
I move to appoint allied staff Jerry Brazil, PAC, Family and Emergency Medicine.
Second.
Who seconded that? I have a motion by Dr. Simon, a second by Greg Bowman, to appoint to allied staff Jerry Brazil, PAC, Family and Emergency Medicine. Roll call vote, please.
Gaspard,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Simon.
Yes.
Mossberg,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Okay, anything else?
No.
All right, thank you. Next, Quappy, Candace?
Would you be opposed to me?
No.
Did anybody have any questions?
I
It's a
move,
huge report. I don't even know how you begin to summarize this. They have done a ton of work. Nothing sticks out that anybody's really slacking that reported to Quappy this month. They seem to be on track. If you read something that you want to talk about, I'd be happy to try to answer any questions you might have. Other than that, we'll call it good.
Any questions for Candace in regards to Quappy? If not, if you go back to the patient care tab, there's the contract management. There were 5.
Yeah, we archived Jerry Darger. Jerry has retired, and so we were able to archive his contract. He served us for 30-plus years.
So the other 4 were all 100%
Yes.
compliant. The next page is the periodic review summary report. This is the one that we have to make a motion on. Is there anything there, Candace, that's
Doesn't look like
appear?
there were any updates made. Just a reminder, these are policies and procedures that we bring for annual review. So just a percentage of them come to you so that they're all reviewed annually. And there will be notes here in the final review marks, and does not appear to be
No
any
issues.
changes.
But we do have to have an approval of that revisions report. So I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve the revision report dated September 30th, 2023.
Second?
I have a motion by Dr. Simon, a second by Dr. Brown to approve the revisions report dated September 30th, 2023. Roll call vote, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Simon.
Yes.
Mossberg.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Gaspard.
Yes. Okay. Next item is the St. Anthony's report. Clark, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. I actually came last, but it was on the wrong day. So drove here and I sat in Candace's office for an hour, and it's all good. Good today. Actually, not much with SSM. They really prepare for the flu. Obviously, the flu vaccines, their campaigns, employee health, a lot of that stuff. I'm sure you already heard some of the financial reports that they had a pretty positive August. Haven't heard about the September numbers and things like that, but if Dr. Ray was out here, he got promoted to CCO for the Oklahoma and Mid-Missouri region, so He's still based out of Midwest City, but his role obviously has expanded when Dr. Lewis left and moved to Illinois somewhere. But pretty quiet, besides just kind of getting ready for the fall, in the winter seasons. And then they've got some employee celebrations coming up for some of the Saints. Employee internal things in Bricktown. Done that pretty quiet.
All right. Well, thanks for coming up,
Yeah, thanks for having me.
and thanks for sharing your insights earlier as well.
Yeah.
Next item is the council report, Greg.
Okay, I got a couple things. The airport lighting system is proceeding. I don't know how far it is. I know we put a lot of the old equipment on surplus. They're also getting some new fuel trucks and a new fuel system to make them more state-of-the-art out there. The rec park turf project is proceeding along very nicely, and the water project upgrades, I hope it hasn't affected anybody here yet, but is started today and proceeding nicely. And that's other than routine business.
And the swimming pool got approved.
The swimming pool has been approved. We don't, nobody's given me a break ground date, so I haven't, I'm not gonna say much until we get that. But it is, the plans and all have been approved. So the city is really close to a lot of big things, I think. I mean, we're just, boy, that far away. So.
I can attest to the water workers this morning. At 6:45, I was coming to work from Winoka, and there was about 10 water vehicles out there working on the line in the dark at 6:45.
That's a high priority right now because, when you shut the water off in town and people know you shut the water off, it's real iffy to say, hey, we're shutting the water off, because what does most people do? They go in and everybody and their dog fills up the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
And that can be a problem when that happens. I was really saying a lot of prayers that we didn't get a toe grounder today and wash it out, because that could have been a problem. So, the Lord was with us on that one today.
Well, thank you for your report. Did we find out from the auditors what day they were coming as far as, so next month's meeting may need to be on the 21st, because that's typically been when they come,
Oh, you mean if they need to come on that day?
and we have to approve that.
He had to cancel our meeting today, he had a conflict that he didn't realize, and so we had to reschedule for Thursday.
Okay, so just stay tuned to what next month's meeting might be. How about that? No new business, we're adjourned.